this online open day for postgraduate research degrees here at Bournemouth University. My name is Dr. Julia Taylor, and I'll be giving you a presentation of about 30 minutes. We have in attendance here somebody from the doctoral college, Adriana, and we have 3 student ambassadors. We've got Alex, Rohan and Delaney, and they're introducing themselves now in the chat to you, and they'll be here to answer your questions after I've done my presentation. Okay, so I am going to share my screen and hopefully you will be able to see a video first up. Okay, slideshow. Right, here we go. Okay. So hopefully you could see that, and you could also hear it this time. We had some trouble with the sound earlier, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about Bournemouth University, give you some context for what we do and the things that are important to us here, and a little bit about what it's like to apply for a research degree at Bournemouth University, something about the process, and also some of the operational aspects that you will need to know as well. Okay, so research at BU. We're very proud of the fact that at Bournemouth University, our students are a very key part of what we do, particularly with research. We consider that students are co-creators in the research with us, with the academic environment as well. They play a crucial role in everything that we do here at BU. Our BU research environment, it supports the research capacity and the capability of staff at all stages. So we see ourselves very much as one community across the whole continuum of research, which begins, in fact, with research degree students as well. You'll hear me use various acronyms at different points. I'm sorry about that. We do use a lot of acronyms, but in this particular case, I will probably constantly refer to PGRs. PGRs means postgraduate researchers, postgraduate research students, and is distinct from postgraduate taught students. I'll tell you a little bit more about the distinction in a minute. So our research culture here at BU, we like to think it's ambitious. We think it's warmly inclusive as well. We have a very vibrant research culture. We put PGRs at the very centre of our research culture here at Bournemouth University. But we focus on the societal impact of our research, both in the region and across the world as a whole. Our research strengths: helping people to live better for longer, helping protect and preserve a sustainable environment. That's very, very important to Bournemouth University. Whoops, sorry, I moved on too fast there. Preparing for and recovering from crisis. We have a disaster management centre that's very active around the world in helping in situations of crisis around the world. We challenge marginalisation, misinformation and underrepresentation. But we're also a very creative university as well, and we help the creative industries and cultural heritage to thrive as well. Using our expertise, we like to be a catalyst for growth, boosting the skills and advancing the knowledge of the region. The region is very, very important to us here at Bournemouth University. So what exactly is a research degree? I said I'd tell you the differences between a postgraduate taught, a master's degree usually, and a postgraduate research degree. I think many of you will have done previous courses, previous programs which are more taught. And the key difference between a research degree and a taught degree is a postgraduate taught, a master's, is very much like an undergraduate degree. So you complete a series of units, you will follow a set timetable, and you study independently on your own. You perhaps do a dissertation. That's one aspect of your degree for a taught degree. And you will have lecturers that will lead you through the course. The distinction between that and what I'm talking about here is a postgraduate research degree, which is much more independent in nature. It has no timetabled units or regular teaching sessions, although it does have our researcher development program, which is a full program of workshops and masterclasses and sessions that sit alongside your academic supervision, and you can dip in and out of that. So it's not timetabled in the sense that you have to attend everything. You can attend the sessions and the units that you feel you require. So by its very nature, a research degree, you focus on a single in-depth research project, and that's something that you'll agree beforehand with your supervisors, and they will supervise you throughout your research degree. So you'll be supervised by experts. At Bournemouth University, every PGR, every postgraduate research student, has at least 2 supervisors. In some cases, you may find that you have more. You have 3 and maybe even 4, but the minimum that you will have is a supervisory team of 2. However, it's very key for you to understand that the responsibility for your work is on you. And that's quite a big learning curve for a lot of people, which is why we give you a lot of support, particularly from the doctoral college. So what research degrees can you do? Here at Bournemouth, we've got 2 master's level 7 degrees. We've got a master's by research and a master of philosophy. The master's by research is quite a new degree. It's a speedier degree. For full-time students, it's 1 year, and for part-time, it's 2 years. It's purely a research degree, however. There are no taught modules, and you'll be examined in the same way that you will for a PhD by a viva voce examination at the end of it. A viva voce examination is the final exam, and I think viva voce means living voice in Latin, and it's not like most other exams that you'll take, because as is common across the sector, across the world, research degrees are examined partly by the thesis, the dissertation, the 30,000 words for an MRes, and more like 60 to 80,000 words for a PhD. And the examiners are in the room with you, questioning you about your research degree. So both Masters by Research and Masters of Philosophy are examined by a viva at the end of the degree, just like a PhD, a Doctor of Philosophy, and Professional Doctorate, which is another form of degree that we offer here at Bournemouth. So we have PGR students in all of our faculties. We have 3 faculties, Faculty of Media, Science and Technology. We shorten them all. We call that one MST. Faculty of Business and Law, which we call BAL, and the Faculty of Health, Environment and Medical Sciences, which we call HEMS. So we tend to use those acronyms rather than the full names of the faculties. And all our PGR students will be enrolled in one of those faculties. There are different sizes, as you can see. In MST, the first one, we have approximately 267 students, PGR students. We've got many more undergraduate and a few more PGT. So they're the biggest by far, almost double the other faculties. Faculty of Business and Law is the smallest with 135 students, and HEMS has 178. So what disciplines can you research here? So as you can see, we've got a broad range of disciplines. You can find all of these on our website. You can find who are the academics who work in these disciplines. Accounting and finance and economics, business and management, computing and informatics, design and engineering, disaster management, education, English and communication, and health. And each one of those will be fitted into one of our 3 faculties. They'll form one of the schools. And again, going on, we have more law and criminology, life and environmental sciences, marketing, media production. We have some great studios and some great kit in our Pool Gateway building on the Talbot campus. We also do politics, psychology, social work, sport and tourism and hospitality. And again, we have some sports fields as part of the overall Bournemouth University campus over in another part of Bournemouth called Chapelgate. So this is the process around a research degree presented in a kind of linear format for you. So this is where most of you will be at the application process. You apply online. Once you've had an interview and an offer and been given the conditions that you're required to meet, then you will come to Bournemouth University and you will enrol. That's when we give you lots and lots of information. We help you to get going. We teach you how to use our systems, etc. You'll meet with your supervisory team. But almost as soon as you're here, there's a probation review. So that's after 4 months if you're a full-time PhD student, after 2 months if you're a full-time MRes student, and then you can double that pro rata for part-time. So it would be 8 months for probation review for full-time PhD and 4 months for MRes. So probation review is kind of like a mini Viva, but you've only just started. But I guess people do find the idea of a Viva alarming. I think I probably did. But it's important to know that we give you lots of practice. And that's why we have a probationary review at the very beginning, which is when you sit down and you discuss your research project to date, the progress that you've made, with an internal team from BU who will ask you lots of questions about your research. So that's the first stage, the probation review. It's a little bit different across different disciplines, but in general, this is the structure. You'll soon after that begin your data collection, which will often involve you, first of all, having your ethics review to make sure that everything is done in according with ethical practice, with research integrity, which is a very, very important part of doing any research degree. For PhD students, you then will have a major review, which is kind of like a bigger and expanded probationary review. Again, with a panel, you sit down with a panel and you discuss your research to date. MRes don't have a major review. It's only a year-long degree, so you will go straight into your Viva at the end of your data collection and your data analysis. Then you come round to your thesis and submission. This is the point at which you hand it all in, and behind the scenes, Bournemouth Doctoral College, us, is arranging your examining team. And so we will arrange everything for your Viva Voce examination, the panel discussion that will take place in defence of your written thesis that you will have submitted. It's very, very usual for people to have some form of corrections to a lesser or greater extent. Some people have corrections, some people have amendments, some people have a resubmission. All of this is quite normal across the range of outcomes for your Viva Voce. When you've done all those corrections and they've been passed by the examiners, that's when you get your award. So there's lots of aspects to a research degree, and Julie, we give you lots of support. The first level of support is your faculty. That's where your academic supervision takes place, and that's where your progression monitoring takes place. Your monitoring is done by a member of the doctoral college, who is your postgraduate research administrator. As I said, we like to shorten everything. We tend to call those PGRAs or RAs, and those are the people who will make sure that you know exactly what's happening with regard to your next academic milestone. Also in your faculty, you have a certain degree of pastoral support, which means support for you the person, as opposed to the degree. And that's incredibly important when you're doing your research degree. And your supervisory team will be in the front line of checking that everything's okay with you. Oops. And also your research administrator, as part of the doctoral college, will be there for you too. A certain amount of research culture and community takes place in the faculty, and also a lot of the resources, laptop resources, lab resources, etc., are provided by the faculty. The doctoral college, of which I'm part, is the overarching support really across the whole university, across all PGRs. And we are the ones who organise the research policies, etc., the code of practice that will guide you through. We also offer the researcher development programme, which is the one that I was talking about, where we have lots of workshops, lots of sessions to help you with your personal and professional development as you go through your research degree. The administrators are all part of the doctoral college as well, the PGRAs, as I was talking about. And we also put on a lot of research, culture and community events. We give out some small grants as well for activities. And we provide some academic events as well, like the PGR conference. Also, you will have access as a PGR, as a postgraduate research student, you will have full access to all BU support that any other student has. So academic services, that's where things around your health and well-being, there'll be support that's offered by academic services for you. Student services is more around arranging the programs, etc., graduation, etc. IT services, very important for you. They're the ones that supply the laptop, and you can call if you have any kind of issue, software issue, hardware issue, etc. And then finally on this screen is SUBU, the Student Union at Bournemouth University. And you will automatically be a part of SUBU as a student at Bournemouth University. And there is quite an active PGR society that is part of SUBU. SUBU runs lots of clubs, lots of societies that you can really get yourself behind, get interested in. They're also there to give you independent advice as well. So something a bit more about the research culture and community. As I said before, research development, your personal and professional development is something that we run programs in the doctoral college. We run events for you to attend. We run coffee mornings. The faculties run coffee mornings as well. We run a big conference, usually at the end of November, early December, which is a great opportunity for you to maybe display an academic poster or give a presentation, attend presentations that are given by other PGRs for you to see how they're doing it, get interested in their research as well. The PGR Society is very active, running different events and meeting regularly once a week. So it's really important to be part of that society, I think. Your faculty will run the more academic side of things, the research seminars, workshops, opportunities again for you to give presentations on your research. And then there's research centres. These are clusters of activity, if you like, around particular themes. And it's very important that all postgraduate research students are part of a research centre. Other things, settling in sessions, these are things that we run to make sure that you're embedding into your course and you're getting to know people and you're networking. Other things that the university runs, peer support units, faculty blogs. Faith and Reflection is a very nice quiet space that we have on campus for people who maybe need to just take some time out, but they also have prayer rooms available and they will have regular meetings there as well. That's open to you as PGRs. And reorientations, that's something that we organise here in the doctoral college as part of the induction, really, the long induction, if you like. So we'll give you another induction before your major review and another induction before your Viva, so that you've got lots of opportunities to ask us questions. There's also other aspects around your research, like data management, but also research ethics, which, as I said before, is something we take incredibly seriously as part of the integral process of ensuring that you conduct your research in an ethical manner, you do no harm, that you conduct all of your research in line with research integrity as well. So, entry requirements. These entry requirements, all of this is available on the website for you to see, but fundamentally it's a 2-1 or first, or equivalent for overseas in a relevant discipline for a master's or a master's of philosophy. For a PhD, it's a first or a 2-1 or equivalent, or a UK master's degree, or again, an overseas equivalent as well, again, in a discipline that's appropriate. English language, if you're a non-native English language speaker, then we do have a requirement, along with everyone else in the sector, along with Home Office rules, for you to have a certain level of English language capability. And we usually measure that by IELTS, although there are other schemes. And we require a score of 6.5 with a minimum of 6 in each component. Funding and accommodation. So there you go. Those are all of the fees that are in place for 2026-27. I'll talk a little bit about, well, first of all, let me say the completion status, just to explain that. So we will charge you your fees for the first 3 years if you're a PhD student and full-time. And in your 4th year, you go on to something that we call continuation status or completion status, which is where instead of charging you the full fees, we will only charge you £600. It's just a nice little bit of an incentive for you to finish up and get your degree submitted and get your degree awarded. Your funding options, there is self-funded, externally funded by an employer, or sometimes sponsored as well. Some of that comes under externally funded studentships as well. Some governments will offer you sponsorship throughout the course of your degree. We have a few BU funded studentships. We don't really have many open at the moment. Occasionally these come up as part of a larger funded project that BU's been awarded. So it's worth keeping an eye out on the BU website, but there's not really any scheme that I can point to you that's open at the moment. If you're in the UK, there is, of course, the doctoral loan as well. So a little bit about accommodation options. We have postgraduate friendly halls dotted around about Poole and Bournemouth. We have studio flats, we have shared flats at very reasonable rates, as you can see, which are open, of course, to postgraduate students as well. And if you live beyond 10 miles, then you are able to get a parking permit to park on Talbot campus. But also there's excellent bus links around about as well. And we have university buses running backwards and forwards between the halls of residence, between the campuses, purpose-built bike compounds, if that's how you like to get around. But the public transport infrastructure around Bournemouth is actually very good, and particularly between the two sort of sites of Bournemouth University, the Talbot campus and the Lansdowne campus. So next steps. These are the dates, the deadlines, I should say, for when you can apply. The September intake, the application deadline is on the 16th of June. So you've got to apply by the 16th of June if you want to be considered for starting here in September 2026. If you wanted to start in January 27, you'd need to apply by 31st of October. And if you wanted to start here in April 27, you'd need to apply by the 31st of January. I think lots of universities don't have an April intake. We have an April intake, which allows people more flexibility if for some reason they have to defer, perhaps from the January intake or even from the September intake. And so that's just, they're available. We don't necessarily say, hey, April intake is a great time to start, because as I'm sure you'll understand, things get a bit thin on the ground in the summertime, but we give you a full induction, a very warm welcome. If you are part of the April intake, then you will have everything that everyone else has, just gets a little bit thin on campus in the summer. So how do you go about applying for a research degree? First thing is to identify your area of interest, your niche area that you feel is appropriate for a postgraduate level of unique study. It's a really good idea to look on the website, identify a potential supervisor and contact them. They will be very used to this if you contact them and say, I'd like to work with you. And if they have capacity, if they feel that your area is something that they would like to and are able to supervise, then they will get in touch with you. They may even help you develop your research proposal, which is a really good idea. When your research proposal is ready, you submit your application online. And if you have been working with someone, it is important for us to know that, because then we can flag your application to them once it's made. And then after that, it's preparing for your interview. Everybody is interviewed for a research degree at Bournemouth University. Okay. Thank you. That's the end of the formal presentation part of it. We're going to go over now to questions. So you're very welcome to put your questions up in the chat, where people will answer them as and when they come up. I'm going to stop sharing now. There we go.
Julia, I think